I don't know. It's confusing to me because it says that the artificial workman manually delivered the title deeds. And then it's kind of confusing because to manually deliver, it says to deliver by hand. So it doesn't seem like Patrick actually wants to
that did confuse me. No. So it's not that we delivered.
Okay, I'm on the line. I'm on the line, Tom.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Patrick.
Take the confusion out of this thing, okay? You've got the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. The head, the right, and the left. Okay? Right now they've taken your left-hand person or your right-hand person, whichever one you don't normally use, and they've taken him to be a workman for the state. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They've taken your name to make a workman, it's not a straw man, it's a workman.
Mm-hmm.
He's working for them. His name is on a bank instrument, a banking instrument, a mortgage, a bond instrument, an insurance policy. That means he is working for them. Do you people understand that?
Mm-hmm.
You can participate in this call too, okay? You just don't have to sit there and be a bunch of dummies and keep your mouth shut.
Yeah,
If I don't get more participation on this damn call of people speaking up and putting something of real essence into the call, then there's no sense in having the damn call. I can sit here and talk to myself all day long, and basically I know what the hell I'm doing. This is for your benefit. And the only way you're going to benefit is if you speak up.
Okay, well, I was having a problem with the workman, but you explained my question right away. So I didn't need to ask.
And basically you should have been able to get that from the definition that I posted up there. I tried to highlight it and bold it in every which way possible to make it understood what the workman was.
Actually, my questions are actually answered by your wording of your second paragraph here, now that I read it right. That the workman became employed when these insurance things came in.
Yes, or when the mortgage, or when a loan, or when you write a check. They're all workmen. Your driver's license. He's the workman for the state. Only a workman needs a license.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you can put on your vehicle not for hire. Because you're not working for the state any longer. You're in the private. See, people have been arguing the wrong thing. I am not a workman for the state. I'm not for hire.
That really puts
the Social Security account is a workman's contract with the state of United States, D.C. See, that's another damn mutual benefit society corporation.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all basically secret societies in their endeavor. They're controlled by the Bar Association, which is a totally secret society. You can't get into that society. It's just like what the hell was the Bushes? The Tomb of the Dead or whatever the hell.
Skull and Bones.
Yeah, Skull and Bones. Well, there's several others out there that all the different colleges have these damn tomb secret societies in them. The occult. But it's really the bankers scenario. The bankers are the black mask. Now, with this fax that I posted up today, basically, it's got everything right there. I've exposed the whole damn deal. An indictment against what's going on here, when you understand what it's saying. And see, we have to stand in a statutory presence. That one definition that I told you about last night, right before I hung up, the 999-year lease. 999. Flip it upside down, you got 666. Well, why in the hell would they have a 999-year lease on anything? Because your artificial workman does not die.
Right.
Okay? He can live on forever. You as the living person can die, but if they have control over your workman, your artificial workman, under a 999-year lease, it's only because what the rest of the thing says in the definition is that you were statutorily absent.
We're absent because we didn't claim our rights.
You did not come in and basically put your claim in the proper way.
Okay.
Right.
You have to be statutorily present. Have presence. If you've got absent, the opposite of absence is presence.
Mm-hmm.
You can look up the two definitions of those two words. Nuisance in the process. Any act that causes harm is a nuisance. Overt acts. Non-constitutional. The state of the United States, comma, D.C. is an unconstitutional state. It's a fictional state. It's a banker's state. The state of Iowa, all capital, is a banker's state. It's not a constitutional state. It's a voluntary mutual benefit society/corporation. And a mutual benefit society corporation has a compensation insurance policy in their process. See, that's why I was pulling all those words together. Then you start seeing what is all out there. The quasi-judicial insurance bar lodge corporate courts. And they will run for the hills when you bring up insurance fraud, sabotage, embezzlement, or racketeering against this corporate court. They don't want the cat out of the bag. You turn around and you do your quick claim deeds, and they are manually delivered. They manually delivered the title deeds to all my heir at law realization entitlements to me. In other words, my left hand handed the deeds over to my right hand. My Holy Ghost artificial workmen, who are supposed to be my workmen, basically voluntarily quit, and then handed the quit claim deeds over to my Son of Man, Patrick Divine. My right hand. Now, if you're left-handed, basically then you do it the opposite way. Your right and left are just switched around. Now, I probably should have signed and dated these when I sent them in, but I didn't. I just wanted to see whether I'd get any response. Now, per the Bible, per the operations of English law, per the operations of American country, the English country, all these other countries out here, when the government of or for and by the people becomes an authoritative bureaucracy controlled by the foreign bankers, it is in the best interest of the people to open the back door and call upon foreign nations to come to our aid. How many times has this country called upon foreign nations to come to the aid of this country? Did we not call on France? Did we not call on Russia at different points in time?
Yes.
Yes, we did. Did not the English call upon the Dutch or whatever out there at different times to fight against the other countries? You can go back into the Bible. How many different times did the Israelites get their butts in trouble and then have to call upon another foreign country to come to their aid? Hell, they even went back to Egypt, trying to call upon them to help them. This is nothing new, okay? And in some cases, this is our only last resort. When the government totally becomes an asshole out here and thinks that their shit don't stink, you've got to basically start digging the pit and throw them in. Especially when they're in bed with the bankers. Because the bankers have destroyed almost every civilization out here over the history of the Bible. This is not the first time, okay? Unless the people start standing up and putting these documents in there and letting the government know that you can bring an indictment against them because you now know that they are just a mutual benefit society corporation working for the bankers. All these courts that we go into, they're a workman's comp court. The workman is the one that owes the taxes. But the insurance policy, the liability insurance policy that is held by the Mutual Benefit Society / corporation is the one that really owes the payment. We as the living have not realized our real entitlements yet. And that's what I told the Attorney General's office about 4 or 5 years ago. I said, I'll be glad to pay any taxes that are due but I have better be paid first. If I'm not paid, I ain't paying any taxes. And it's all right there in the word realize. And I got the definition, and I tried to highlight those parts of that definition. I mean, if you don't want to read the definitions, then basically you might as well give up, because the whole Bible, okay, if you think that you're a Christian, you better understand that it is the whole thing about the Bible is you have to know the Word. Until you know the Word, you cannot use the Word. So if you don't know the definition of the word, you'd best not use it, because you'll screw it up. You're only thinking you know something, and you really don't. Manual delivery, a hand-to-hand or physical delivery of an instrument or article by one person to another. That says a hell of a lot right there. Right hand to left hand. Right. Physical delivery.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. This is Mike. It's actually in conjunction with the Bible. Everything is in conjunction with the Bible.
Yes, it's all out of the Bible. But you got to know the words that come out of the Bible.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing. It's the word. You have to know what the word means. And word is plural. It just doesn't mean one word.
Right.
It means all the words.
Like the Word of God.
Yeah, and basically people don't even know who fucking God is. Just like I watched the movie The Librarian. And basically when they went to the Buddha in Shangri-La, basically to open up the Buddha to get the spear of whatever they were trying to track down, they had to know the name of God. Well, the name of God is M-E, me.
Mm.
Because God is in all of us.
Right.
We all came from the big gathering. This is a big fucking game that nobody realizes.
And as you said, that God means grounds of dominion, right?
Yeah, grounds of dominion. But it's your spirit. It's me. And your body is the grounds of dominion that is encapsulated the me in. See, that's the temple. The body is the temple.
And the government can't work without the banks. Can't work without the banks. They
can't what?
Yeah, they cannot work without the banks. They have to side with the banks, the bankers.
Yes, they can work without the bankers. They don't need the bankers. They got us. If they treat us right, we will give them the assets they need to operate. But the basic operations of government was supposed to be paid by the tariff taxes. The tariff taxes would have more than covered all the immediate operations and for the defense of this country and for the internal operations of this country, and not this over-government system that we have. We don't need all these damn people working for government. All these people should be out there working on their own. They've got creative powers, but they're being controlled from utilizing their creative powers out here by a government that wants to control them.
Control the hospital. Right.
Yeah.
They're breaking up.
He said they want to control us.
Yes, they want to control us.
Right.
And that's what the bankers want. So the government basically goes along with what the bankers want because the bankers have bought their way in. And these guys, these government officials are all damn traitors.
Same thing.
That's why you can open up the back door and let these other foreign governments come in to our aid.
Same thing with the attorney. Bank authorized representative. That's what that means, right? Bank authorized representative, right? The Bar Association. They are working together. All of them working together.
Well,
right?
no, there's a bunch of them out there that are just plain ass dumb. Okay, they don't know this shit.
No, but they still serve the same purpose.
Yeah, but they've gotten into the scenario that they think that they're right, and see, most of them don't even understand this mutual benefit society / corporation that's operating these workmen.
Because even they are coming from
the whole Social Security program, okay, I don't know whether you people know this, was set up back in the 1930s. Mm-hmm. It was primarily to allow the manufacturing companies like General Motors and several of the other big manufacturers out in Detroit and the East Coast corporations there to utilize their employees' assets so that they did not have to borrow, okay? But they ended up putting the people's assets up as collateral with the banks so that they got a slight discount in the loans that were being given to them. That's the initial workman that was set up in the process. The Social Security person is a workman for the corporations.
So basically, we become a workman when we get the Social Security card, or at least that's the.
You became a workman when you signed, or when you did not reject, or have your parents reject the certificate of live birth.
Oh, okay.
Or when you got your driver's license, or when you got your marriage license, or when you got your certificate of title to your house, or your certificate of title to your vehicle, or your fishing license, or you went into the military service. You became a governmental workman. Not you, but your fiction.
Right. Anytime we fell for one of those things, we became a workman.
You set a workman in place with the state.
Okay.
Contracts.
That's why I tried to highlight all that stuff about workman's compensation. The insurance carrier, a familiar term in workman's compensation cases. It's about insurance. The bankers do not make the money on banking. They make the money on insurance, the other side of banking. That is the Pharaonic side of the banking system, is the insurance, the Jezebel, the ISIS side of the system. Mutual Benefit Society, a voluntary organization or corporation formed and organized aside from accompanying fraternal objects solely for the purposes of rendering financial aid or other assistance to the members or certain designated beneficiaries of the latter.
Patrick, let me ask you. This Lloyd's of London, right, which is the head insurance company for the entire world, am I correct?
The what?
Lloyd's of London.
No. Say again. I didn't hear you.
Lloyd's of London.
Oh.
It's just one of the many bankers, insurance companies.
Yeah, but that insurance company that is Lloyd's of London, actually all insurance companies throughout the world.
That here in this country, okay, the state has their own insurance corporation for their driver's license, for their certificates of title to the vehicle, for their marriage certificates. Every state has an insurance corporation. Now, whether they're tied into Lloyd's of London, I don't know. Okay? They're tied into the DTC to put their bonds on the open market that they write. I do know that.
So that's what I heard. Lloyd's of London covers everyone. And that's
no, it can't cover everyone, okay? Mm-hmm. They got enough problem covering their own shit over there in London. Okay? They've got ties over here by way of the Federal Reserve Bank, so they don't need to really be doing too much over here, even though they do insure some people over here in this country through the Lloyd's of London. But they've got their own system that is coming in and feeding into the Federal Reserve Bank in this country, so they don't need to have Lloyd's of London be the big person.
Everything is tied to London because even Chase Manhattan is owned by Standard Oil, and Standard Oil is in London. Chase Manhattan Bank is owned by Standard Oil.
Okay. I'm not here to argue about this.
No, I'm not arguing. I'm not saying what I get from.
We know that basically it is a juggernaut out here, okay?
Right.
We've got to know what we can control and basically what hammer we can put on to these people, okay? Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm trying to do here, okay? We can't go over to Lloyd's in London and fight them over there, even though I'd like to drop a damn nuke on London over there and get rid of that damn place. And a few others around the world, but that's not going to happen. At least we're not going to be able to do that, okay?
Right.
We've got to take care of what we need to do, and basically, if you go through the Bible and you study the Bible, how many times basically have the societies turned themselves over because of the bankers? Babylon. Daniel, okay, was in Babylon. But he was still in Babylon when the Medes Persians took over. Who was the gatekeeper in Babylon when the Medes Persians came? Daniel was.
Okay.
Could he have left the gate open for the Medes Persians to come in? Very likely. Just like the Trojan horse with the Greeks at Troy. There's more to some of these stories that you just don't see And people don't have the eyes to open up. I mean, most people don't even have the eyes to open up what the hell the definition of these words really mean. That's why you've got to go through and highlight certain things. You've got to look at the words in the definition and then go and check out what that word means, because you may be understanding the word wrong in that definition. Therefore, the definition don't make any sense to you in the proper respect because you don't know what that other word means.
As I go through the definitions, when I get to the end, I realize that what I read at the beginning is different, and I have to go back and do it again. And each time you go through, you see the additional interweaving of all the words.
Yes, but you have to go through. As you go through and read it, mark down a word that you may not quite understand. Underline it. Highlight it. That's what I've done with a lot of these here. When I went through there. Indictment. What does indictment really mean? Okay? Mutual corporation. Contract. Public contract. Public corporation. What does a public corporation really mean? Well, basically, there's a hell of a lot more to it than what most people see.
That phrase you mentioned, call upon a foreign country, where is that from? That
it's
like
from the reading of the Bible, okay?
Oh, okay.
That when you read the Bible, you see that in some cases, all of a sudden, another country comes in and takes over.
Okay.
Okay? How did Genghis Khan become as powerful as he was? Because basically Genghis Khan treated the farmers, the outlying defense perimeter people, better than what the government was treating the people. And see, that's what this country was supposed to do. One of the key stipulations was that the Social Security insurance was not to be against the farmers. You do not destroy your food source. An army lives on its belly, as the old saying goes. You starve the army ain't worth shit. And basically, in this country, we've let the Monsanto and all these other genetically altered corporations come in. Oh, well, this is for the best interest of the people. We'll get faster growth and everything else. But they don't sit there and realize that basically the family farms are being literally destroyed.
Well, they realize.
They're intended.
Yes.
Yeah,
drive the people into the cities. Get the people into a compound. Then we can control them even more.
Everything's been designed.
Yeah, if everybody is in a crowd, basically you can blow up that damn thing with one little bomb and take out the vast majority of the people.
Now, you said you sent this off to the secretary. The secretary. No, it wasn't.
I sent it off to the Attorney General, that I have there, the State Attorney General and the Federal Attorney General. to
Right.
two district, at the state, and at the federal level, judges.
Okay.
To the secretary of my state, and then also to a trustee for the Justice Department here in the state of Iowa. Okay?
Okay.
Probably should have sent it to the damn newspaper, too.
Actually, it's a
Send
good
it to
idea.
the FBI, send it to the Secret Service, send it to all these damn government official enforcement officers.
Good idea.
You should send it to The Hague.
No, I probably should have sent it to, well, if Mo was still around, send it over to him in China.
The Hague claims to be recognized globally as for international justice.
Maybe and maybe not.
But
Okay.
it's still controlled by the bankers.
And asking the Hague to intervene, prosecute them.
I'd probably send it to Putin over in Russia.
That'd probably be more effective at this point.
Right.
How many times has Russia come to our aid? Okay? But yet the bankers set up Stalin and everything and did away with Lenin and taking out the Tsar and everything. But I think Putin's coming back around to understanding some of what the Tsar was doing there before.
Yeah, didn't he throw out the Rothschilds in the last 10 years? Threw the banks out of Russia?
Supposedly, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, Russia was our only ally in the Civil War, and they led the League of Armed Neutrality to protect us during the Revolutionary War.
Well, we had France and we had a couple other allies out there. Basically, some people just don't realize.
Yeah. Well, France was our
really
key.
Totally
France
known.
France was the key ally in the Revolutionary War, but Russia kept France and England from invading us during the Civil War by sending its fleet over to New York and San Francisco and blockading them.
Does everybody understand about the endorser and the endorsee?
Yeah.
I tried to highlight those and point those items out in the definitions there also.
Yeah, I get it. I'm going to have to go over it several times because it was new to me, and I have to keep going over and remembering it. But basically, the endorser and the drawer and the grantor are all the same person. Or have the same role.
I don't know. These words just seem to resonate more easily than some of the previous ones. Maybe because we've been exposed to so many more words.
Well, that's the thing. The more the more words you get, the more you start seeing things. Okay? Begot, to procreate. Okay? See, words of procreation. Words of procreation. Words essential to the creation of an estate tail as an estate to A and the heirs of his body. Well, what is heirs of his body? Heirs of, and it's got heirs of her body begotten and heirs of the body in the dictionary. So you go and look up those. Extinct, to extinguish. Extinguishment, discharge, destruction, termination, cancellation. Extinguishment of common, the termination of a right of common from any cause. For example, the acquisition of title by the person holding the right. Extinguishment of copyhold. The conversion of a tenure of a copyhold tenant to a freehold. What do we have right now? We have a copyhold workman tenant. And what do we want to do? We want to have a conversion into a freehold. Extinguishment of debt. The extinction or cancellation of a debt as a payment by merging the debtor and the creditor, by novation, or the merger of a debt in a judgment. Who is the creditor and who is the debtor? If you merge the two together, there is no debt. You just extinguish it. Novation, the extinguishment of one obligation by another. There's a little more to it, but you could read that one. And then there's a Latin phrase, novation non presumptor. A novation will not be presumed. You have to make the novation known. Go through the writs again. Wrong. The infringement of a legal right belonging to a definite, specific person. In common usage, an action in violation of a moral principle. The word, as the word injury, in law imports the invasion of a legal right. Well, see, you're absent. You have not established your legal rights. You have to be not absent, but present. Show your presence in the court. They go to the very first page and write it right underneath the word has absence. Now put the word definition for presence. The bearing or personality of a person. The fact of being at a place at a particular time. I am present. Let my presence be known. Is a good phrase. And I know I've heard that one numerous times out there in legal statements,
Yes.
documentary films and stuff. When they go into court, let my presence be known. It implies an area which has no metes or bounds. That means you're not hemmed in. You're free if you have no metes and bounds. And see that 999-year lease, a lease for a term of 999 years, valid in respect of the term in the absence of statute. Until you bring the statute into presence, that lease will stand as valid.
They got you.
That's why that was in the dictionary. And see, you have to make your presence of the statutes known to that court or to whoever. That's why I put that in my when I said your office as a U.S. constitutional office is called upon by the no longer absence of statute, American man. I am here to let my statutory presence be known in my statutory rights and powers to have the seizure of my heir at law realization entitlements. But you have to understand what realize means. Just like you have to know what workman means now and how they violated this and get you into over-insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You've already got an insurance policy. What are you putting another insurance policy on the vehicle for? You're putting it on the vehicle for their protection now.
Right.
They're writing bonds out there for the workman, and then you're turning around and writing more, so you're buying more damn insurance, excessive insurance, or over-insurance. Corporations like to over-issue bonds in excess. To get more money into their coffers. Overseas, beyond the sea, outside of the jurisdiction. So you're going to go overseas. quasi-judicial. Need to know what some of these terms really mean, okay? Realize, to understand, to bring to fruition. To realize means to bring into actual possession. Whether it be knowledge, whether it be hard assets, that's the word you need to use, is realize. I have not realized my entitlements yet.
Always in a deficient. Yes. True.
What?
Realizing is, in the deficient. You got to know the wording of the words of these meanings. You got to know them, because
yes,
you definitely have to know them.
Yeah. And see, also, realization is in the income tax law. Realization of income is the taxable event, rather than the right to receive it. The realization is not deemed to have occurred until the income is paid. That's what I told the Attorney General's office. But I didn't use the word realization. I was saying the same thing.
Right.
And see, that's what, in some cases, we have to use the proper words. Now, in some cases, even though we use the proper words, they may still not understand it, because some of these things are not going to be that clearly identified in Black's or Bouvier's law dictionary, which basically these attorneys and everything utilize and think that that's the gospel truth. They're missing half the damn words in their damn dictionaries. And even in the definitions, they don't have the full definition.
Would you say they suppress it?
What?
Would you say they suppress it? Suppress the information?
You're going to have to speak up a little louder.
And can you speak more slowly? You run your words together. Can you speak more slowly, please?
Would you say that they suppress information? Suppress it?
To purchase?
Suppress it. Suppress the information. Suppress it.
Oh, yeah, they suppress the information from the attorneys. They don't want the attorneys to know everything. Just like one defense attorney there, basically was working as a public defender. Well, if the guy went to jail, he got paid $1,750 for his services. If he got the guy off, he only got $500. The guy said something's wrong here. He didn't know why he was getting that difference in the pay, but he was better off to send the guy to jail than to get him off. Like about 3.5 times as much.
Okay.
That's real conflict of interest.
Hell yes. But see, most people don't know how these so basically, you got your wife's birthday coming up and you don't have any cash. Basically, that poor guy that you're defending, he don't stand a chance. He's going to jail. Just to keep the wife happy. See how the bankers control all this stuff?
The almighty dollar.
Yes. But it's all this funny dollar stuff, okay?
Sure.
They don't even realize that the value, okay? Say an attorney was making $5 an hour in silver back in '65, okay? That $5 an hour would be roughly 5 times 18, or almost $90 an hour today.
Wow.
Actually, I just figured that out today, Patrick. It's actually 22.
Well, the price of silver's been going down, okay? It was up there a little higher. So
Well, at 1750, because the dollar was 0.7739 troy ounces. So when you divide the price by that you get 22.
Well, don't go there. Just think of a dollar as 1 ounce of silver, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, it had intrinsic value and it had stamping value too, okay?
Right.
So you had $1 worth of silver, roughly. The labor and everything that went into it, okay? Just look at it that way and keep it simple, okay?
Okay.
It'll break it down a lot easier, and you don't play this. So many people play this nitpicky ass shit, and then they lose sight of the whole reality of what is being said. So you keep things simple, stupid, and then you can understand it, okay?
Okay.
But anyway, people think that they're making all this money, $300 an hour. Well, basically, $300 an hour. You divide that by 18. That comes up to about $15 in silver, 16 maybe. Okay. We'll just say a correlation of that. Well, basically, back in 1960, you might have been making $25 an hour as an attorney. That means that your pay scale has gone down by about at least 1/2 to 1/3 in most cases out here. And people don't even realize it in the process. And that's what the bankers wanted to do. Now, the price of the goods, the McDonald's hamburger and everything else, is still roughly the same as what it was back in the 1960s. Gasoline right now is less than $3 a gallon. $3 in Federal Reserve dollars. That means it's less than 30 cents. Which is about the price of what it was back in the 1960s, somewhere around 18 cents or so, 18 to 21 cents a gallon. So is the price of the commodity changed? No. But the price of the labor has changed, and basically our labor value has gone down because of what's going on with the bankers scenario. They're stealing our labor away from us. Okay, go ahead and open up the questions. And like I told you, people, you better start participating, okay?
Well,
if you don't want to participate, just hang up, okay? I don't like this, okay? Of just everybody sitting around and being a bump on the log, not putting any input in, okay? This is supposed to be an open session into this website. Okay?
Right. Well, I've had all my questions answered, Patrick. I need to get back to studying it again. Anybody else have questions they want to ask?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
I wanted to hear more details about this word on page 10. It's accommodated party. And it says an endorser is accommodated, and he goes on to say a few things. I was just wondering, is this accommodated party our Workman? And he's submitting a negotiable instrument, which we're accepting?
Accommodated endorsement, okay, says see accommodated party. Accommodated party, the person whose benefit another, known as the accommodating party, signs a bill or note as maker or drawer, acceptor or endorser, thereby lending the credit of his name to the former. Okay, when you read that, what do you think? Whose credit is being loaned?
My credit.
Okay, now backtrack and figure out who is who in the process.
Okay, I was just confused because later on it says negotiable instrument. And I was wondering, is that quitclaim deed a negotiable instrument?
Yes, it is. It's a bill of exchange also. But it is a bill of lading. For the most part, it's basically holding all of your assets. So it's a bill of lading. You need to look at the definitions that I had up the previous one that had all the stuff about quitclaim and everything on it. Oh. Now, there's more definitions. There's about, over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I put up at least four documents of definitions.
Yeah, there's close to 30 pages.
Anybody else you suggest we're sending this American Indictment to?
Well, basically, if you've got your quitclaims and everything pretty much ready to go, send them in. If you got a court case, put it into the damn court case.
I sent it into the Secretary of State last week.
Okay. Put it into the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, and everything else. Let them know that you know about this secret society they have. And that basically your workman is going to quit. And that he's signing over all of his insurance policies over to the living person. One of the key things on the endorsement is with enlarged liability. See, most people have been signing, endorsing or whatever, signing with all rights reserved. No. An endorsement with enlarged liability, an endorsement on a bill or negotiable instrument with the written words, demand, notice, and protest waived and payment guaranteed, appearing above the signature of the endorser. Now, the endorser, you have to have it clearly identified that you are the endorser when you put your signature on the back of that check or whatever. They become the endorsee.
Makes perfect sense.
Endorsee, the person named in a special endorsement of a bill or note. The holder of an instrument on which the only or last endorsement is blank, is a blank endorsement, is a bearer rather than an endorsee. But you go up further and look at transfer by endorsement. The endorsement and delivery of a negotiable instrument to the endorsee. The bank is the endorsee. The endorser puts the instrument in the power and under the control of the endorsee. See, this is one of the problems that most people never really did, okay? They go in and look at the definitions. They never pull the words out and put them down on a piece of paper, one next to the other, and then try and highlight them. And then go and look at the different words that are associated with that, like holder, like maker, like, let me see, what was the other ones? Maker, drawer, acceptor. Put all those words together and then do a comparison of what they're saying about each one. Like I put the notation on there about maker, the state of United States by way of the DCC Seeding Company, or the state Workman's Insurance Corporation, or lastly, the bank and Federal Reserve with their banking Workman's Insurance Corporations. See, every time you take out a loan or whatever, a mortgage, it's in your workman's name, and now it goes to the Workman's Insurance Corporation. So he's working for the bank. See, you didn't know you had a workman, that you were working for the bank.
Did not.
See, you're your own worst enemy when you're working for the people that are trying to destroy you.
Are we going to be doing the quick claim deed on all these other instruments as well?
You get the big one and get the notification in, and basically then the other one should come collapsing down, okay? You can do some key ones with the state, the certificate of live birth with the state, and the marriage certificate if you want to, driver's license, if you got a DD-214 through the state, okay? Those are all issued by the state. Now, the Social Security account also was issued under a state zone number, okay? And then the Social Security account is primarily a insurance policy with the state of United States, comma, D.C. Corporation.
Tom and I mentioned something last night. I mentioned to him about send in a rescission for the voter's registration because it makes you a citizen of the United States corporation. And he said that we will probably be doing a quitclaim deed on that, too.
Well, or else you just quit, okay? I don't know whether there's an insurance policy associated with that one or whether it ties back into one of the others. But you get that main one about the certificate of live birth in, and that will take care of all that when you take your assets out.
And that's the
like
first
domino.
First domino, right.
Yep.
I have a question about this indictment. I guess what kind of endorsement are we putting on there? Is this also an endorsement within large liability?
You can put your signature and thumbprint on there if you want to, okay?
Okay.
I didn't have enough room left on there, so I just shot it off without anything on it.
We should probably sign with two people, right? Two persons.
No, one person's good enough, okay? Just put that notation on there about by my hand.
Two per law.
Yeah, whatever. Witness my hand. And then sign and put your thumbprint.
Patrick?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. This is Jennifer. I just wanted to let you know I had called you, Patrick, back on August 19th in regards to the cease and desist. And something had happened when I sent that in. I sent that in for an appointment that I was supposed to have with child support. They're actually taking the money out of my check, which is basically very minimal because I'm a server. So they're basically taking probably $3.70 an hour. But what happened was I faxed that.
Question. Stop right there. Okay.
Yeah.
You were married, right? You had a marriage contract with the state, right?
I'm from New Jersey.
Did you have a marriage license with the state?
Of New Jersey. We're out in Wisconsin now. We were divorced in 2004.
I'm asking you a question. Do you understand how to answer a question? Okay?
Yes.
Did you have a marriage license?
Yes.
Okay. I don't care what state it's from. Okay? Now, you got divorced, right?
Correct.
You do not have custody of a child, right?
No.
So you're paying child support, right?
Correct.
Okay. That marriage license was a workman's license. Your workman basically has vacated it now. Now he has to pay the insurance policy that was with that marriage certificate is the one who is supposed to be paying the payment. So when you read this document about what I'm saying about workman's compensation, apply it to that marriage license. The wife and the husband were both workmen on that marriage license with the state. So it's a workman's compensation that the insurance policy, this mutual benefit society insurance policy is supposed to be paying. When they took all of our assets away from us and they set up this mutual benefit society for us, they were supposed to be paying all the bills. Through the insurance policies. But they haven't been doing that. So you turn around and you write this thing up and you address this to the court that you will bring embezzlement, fraud, insurance fraud, embezzlement, sabotage, and racketeering charges against this court if they do not comply. And then you can take that to the federal court. But see, you've got to know what you're talking about this insurance policy.
Yeah, that's the one I just downloaded today and I printed it off.
Yes, but you have to modify it for your situation with the marriage license. See, that marriage license was a license. So it was a contract.
So it doesn't matter if it
What
went...
contract do you have with the state?
Zippo.
To get married, you don't need a contract with the state. You know what a real marriage is? The man and the father, basically, the man accepts the daughter from the father into his tribe or household. The father gives his consent to release the daughter to him. Now, the father is going to release the daughter to the guy unless the daughter consents to go to the guy in most cases. So it's really a three-party scenario. There's no minister. There's no state involvement in a real marriage. These are just window dressing, and they're basically an insurance scam. Even the church puts you under a false scenario of trying to control your marriage by getting their damn priest or minister or whatever involved in the damn thing, and then having a big hoopla and getting the damn couple into debt before they even have their first child or whatever. Paying for their damn wedding reception and all the bullshit, the honeymoon and all that shit. Where in the hell did love come into that shit? I don't see it anywhere in that picture. Well, people see money ahead if they went out and eloped. Period.
Wait. Let me finish about what happened with faxing that into child support. That was on August 19th. The following week, I've never received a paycheck from this corporation that I work for. They came to me the following week and they said to me, "Oh my God, guess what, JB? You got a check." The manager held it in her hand and said there must be a mistake and took it away. I'd never seen it again. It was a $70 check. She came back from vacation. Make a long story short, the next pay period, which is every other week, she explains to me that all voided checks are now faceless. And I didn't say anything to her. And we just got paid again just last week. And she withheld my check again and said to me, "Oh, wow, you got a paycheck because you did expediting the food out. You have a $51 check." I still didn't say anything because I still don't know what they're doing. I just find that very, very bizarre.
You can bring a suit against that person you're working for in that case, and I start looking for new employment.
Yeah, I know.
It kind of sounds like they honored. Sounds like they honored her cease and desist, and the job doesn't believe it.
Exactly, Tawana.
Yeah. So you've got to put a court case in against them for harm that they're depriving you, and basically that is a nuisance in the process. And you can notify that bureau that is paying child support, and you can let the state file the claim in with the Attorney General's office.
Yeah, the whole procedure happened because child support kept calling me and trying to get me to come down there and make an agreement to pay not only what they're taking from me from my wages, from my hourly wages, but to pay another $340 a month on top of that in the cash that I make as a server with my tips, which are considered a gift.
But they're not a gift, okay? Okay? There is no gifts out here. That's all fraud, okay? You're entitled to your wages. And basically, if they're depriving you of your wages, of your labor, you need to go to the Attorney General's office and file a complaint in with them also against this company, and let the company know that you're going to file this complaint for harm. But I would, in the meantime, I'd start looking for a different job.
Yeah. First thing I do when I go in tomorrow morning is I want to find out what happened to that $70 check. Where did that go? I want to see the numbers on that. That supposedly they made a mistake. The whole thing is bizarre.
No, there should be no mistakes on if that was printed out. That's not a mistake.
No, you're absolutely right. She's the manager. She's the one who signs the check. I need to get in touch with the accountant, find out what's going on.
Now, why did that check come through there in that regard? Either she's not the chief financial officer or whatever in the process. You need to find out who's really in charge of issuing that check.
Yeah. And why are my checks faceless from now on? This is what I was told. And I've only received one faceless check with nothing on it. But all the withholdings were on the second page.
What's a faceless check?
You know how you have a company check where it says your name and paid to the order and, the amount? Well, there was nothing on it. It was faceless.
Okay. Totally
because all of
check. Blank
check. Blank check, no lines, no nothing. All of my checks since I've been working there for the past 3 years have been voided because child support takes everything. So I believe what had happened with that cease and desist order went through.
Right. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Or could be, let's say.
You need to get a reopening in your child support case.
Actually, I do, but I'm going to have to call you privately on that.
Well, no, you just basically you demand that basically this needs to be reopened, especially if you go to the Attorney General's office there and put your complaint in with them about you're being deprived.
That the state should have been paying this.
And basically about the insurance fraud and everything else. That basically the state of New Jersey is supposed to be paying that damn child support.
Actually, we were married in New Jersey. The children, all three girls, were born in Minnesota, and then we moved to Wisconsin, and then Wisconsin took the children away because the mother was...
The marriage certificate is out of New Jersey, okay?
That's all I need to know.
Yes. And that's where they're... it's New Jersey that basically the marriage certificate is basically being hammered on you out of, right?
Yep.
Yep. So, see, that's the insurance policy. And, see, it's insurance fraud. Simple. Straightforward. Workman's Compensation insurance fraud. You are one of the workmen on that contract. The other party in the marriage was the other workman. The state is not a workman. And see, they were writing bonds against your assets that were under your workman's name. Now do you see why they want all these gay couples to get married too?
Yeah.
Because now they can get another damn marriage certificate out here as another dual workman policy.
Or embezzlement.
Yes. More money for the government. It's all insurance fraud. Racketeering. See, when you know how the game is played, then you can start tearing the game down. When you know the dice are loaded, you can bet the other way and basically start winning. It's all a game. I've said this all along. This is just one big game.
Exactly.
But yeah, look over that facts that I wrote up there, and basically you could turn around and use quite a bit out of that and go right to the Attorney General's office claiming insurance fraud under the workman's, that you were one of the workmen on that marriage certificate.
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's a workman contract in place at our jobs, at our place of employment.
Yeah, see, that's another one, okay? But that one's for the living person. Okay? The other one is all these certificates and everything. They're a fictional. They're an artificial item. But you also have your artificial person under a Social Security account. Just like the SS4 form basically puts you into a position of a fictional, an artificial workman in the process so that they can go and write bonds against your assets to turn around and pay you. To put you up, to put your assets up as collateral for the corporation you're working for. That's what the SS4 is all about. I've said that for years too. Most of this stuff is nothing new. It's just more or less a refinement of everything that I've been saying before, brought into more openness in the understanding about this workman's comp. Not straw man comp, but workman's comp. And you've never been comped for your work. You've never realized your compensation.
No one's actually getting paid because they're all being paid in debt.
What?
But no one's actually getting paid because they're all being paid in debt.
No, that's not it. Okay? No one's getting paid because we're doing all the paying out of our back pocket. We're not getting what we should be getting for the usage of our assets, our fees, our rent. Look at it as rent. You're a farmer, and basically you don't farm the land this year. You rent it out to a neighbor. He farms it. He owes you the rent. Now, if he don't pay the rent, you're going to be very fucking pissed. But nobody is pissed about this because they don't know that you've got a workman out there that's not getting paid, that they're holding all his assets, all his pay, or all his rent money from him. That's why you have to make your presence known under your statutory rights and powers to protect your workmen. But until you make your presence known, your presence is absent. And basically that is one of the sayings out there that basically in the definitions I had there about quit, okay, let me see if I can find that again. Okay, quit. To terminate employment, well, you go on down, and then you have QUI. Next word begins with T. Well, that's still quit. He who is silent is deemed to consent. The next one down, he who is silent is deemed to consent when his advantage is drawn into question. You have the advantage. But if you do not speak up, you lose your advantage. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you have to go and look up the word advantage. Well, lo and behold, you're not going to find it in most of the dictionaries. Okay? I think I did find it eventually in Black's dictionary. I can't remember where I posted it in here somewhere. Advantage. Any state, condition, circumstance, opportunity, or means specifically favorable to success, posterity. Interest, reputation, or any desired end. Preference or prior. Advantage, concession, and discrimination. The combination of terms which bespeaks a violation of law. These words, as used in this one act of 1903, denouncing certain agreements between common carriers and shippers, must be construed to mean unlawful advantage, unlawful concession, and unlawful discrimination. And that's about all that I got, and I think those came out of Black's Fourth Dictionary. But Valentine's didn't have anything in it, just referenced, I don't even know whether it had it in it. And Anderson's didn't have anything in it, and then Bouvier's. And Black's First, I don't think, had it in it. But see, that's what some cases, when you start seeing these words are not used in their law dictionaries, but they're used in some of these key definitions, why isn't this word in their law dictionary? Because it's an advantage to you. And they don't want to give you any advantages. Okay, any other questions there?
Any more, guys? Looks like not, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah. Sabotage. I mean, this is a good one. Malice, damage, or injury to the property of an employer by an employee. Well, who is the employer in this country?
We are.
Government.
The employer is we the people. And the employees are all these state servants. But they call them state employees, not servants. And they call our workman the servant, or the slave, or the lower than whale ship. I mean, even a state employee is ranked higher on the totem pole than our workman is. One of the guys sort of found that out because his fiance or whatever works for the state, and basically the cop pulled her over right next to the workplace that she works at the state office. When he saw that she was a state employee, basically he let her off. But if she strictly would have been a workman, she wouldn't have gotten off. So since she was going to the office there, basically then she was in the employee status and not in the workman status.
That's a good example of the distinction.
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
So if we're higher than the state employees in terms of status, shouldn't we be getting their benefits? And how are we supposed to be paid in silver at our regular employment contract?
You're not going to get paid in silver, okay? You're going to get paid in Federal Reserve dollars because we're off the gold standard. You've got to make the conversion and basically say, am I really getting what I am due out of this damn job? Or am I working for slave wages? And that's when you've got to start pulling in all of your other workmen away from them with their quit claim deeds and everything else. Terminating all of those mutual benefit society insurance programs and get out of being a laborer for them.
So we are many workmen. We are our own Tom Jones company.
We have a bunch of workmen out there, but they're not working for us.
Right.
We've loaned them all out, and we have not been getting our pay for our workmen.
Good.
Just think of this as basically you have a house cleaning company, and basically you brought a whole bunch of Mexicans up here, so you got 100 Mexicans working for you. Okay? They're the workmen. Now, they go out and clean all these houses. Now, if nobody pays you, are you going to be very happy?
Of course not.
No. Well, then why in the shit should you be happy about what the hell's going on with your workmen right now? They belong to you. You better start demanding their damn pay. Or else you quit. Okay?
I quit. Give me my assets. I want out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I quit. We all quit.
That'd be the best thing for this country if the country would just do a damn sit-down strike and quit.
Yep.
We wouldn't even need all of them either. We could do it on like a tenth.
Yeah. To absolve, to acquit, to set free, to release. Absolute rights. Rights grown out of contractual relationships, or the right to enter or refuse to enter into contractual relationships. And in a voluntary society, you have the right to quit at any time. Unvolunteer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these states are at-will employer states.
Yes,
Where either party can end up.
all these states were constitutional, And basically the Constitution is a will of the land. But that did not give them the statutory right to set up this other fictional state society, mutual benefit society. You're under no obligations to join the Mormon Church or the Mennonite Church or whatever. And that's what this damn thing is. It's just another damn stinking church, a religious belief. You believe that you've got to have that damn insurance to exist. You don't. And like I said before, there's not one stinking church out here that has ever saved one person. Just like Jesus didn't come to redeem everybody and save their damn stinking ass. He came to show us the way and the path that we had to operate to get out of their damn system. But so many of the damn arrogant Christians out here think that is total blasphemy. That ain't. That's the truth. And if the truth is blasphemy, well, I'm sorry to say this country is basically done for. Okay, any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
I read this definition, absent from the state, and it says that it applies to the defendant. So I guess it doesn't really apply to us. I was thinking about whether we are absent from the state or not, but I guess it doesn't really apply, does it?
Yes, it does. See, we are absent by not speaking up and showing our presence. You have to override the absence. You have to make sure your presence is known. Therefore, the absent goes away. But they're operating under implied absence right now. Because you've not come in and taken advantage of the 9th and the 10th Amendments. Your rights and powers. Those are statutory rights. They were not in the original Constitution, but they were added later under statutes. Right?
Right.
Right.
Okay? So you have a statute by presence. And see, that overrides the absence of statute. You haven't presented a statute to override the item. So it's an absence of statute. When you present the statute, then you will get your rights.
Okay, that makes sense. I was curious about the absence from the state. I don't know. It says that it talks about a defendant's absence from the state. I'm wondering who the defendant is in this case. I mean, we're filing an indictment.
Well, absent from the state, okay? You're basically, see, is what they're talking about in that regard is basically the workman, okay? In the process of being absent from the state. Absenteeism, okay? Go to high school, okay? Did you not get punished for absenteeism?
Sure did.
So, if the workman is absent from his state contract, then he's going to get punished. See what it's saying now?
Yeah, and I see that it says that even if you send some documents to the Secretary of the State, who is your agent, that doesn't mean that you're no longer absent from the state.
Right, but see, you've got to break that damn contract because the absent from the state is not for you, the living, it's for your workmen.
Right.
He's got to go be present so he can quit.
Well, he's got to be working if he's under contract.
Yes.
Okay? So if you try and take him out of his contract and not have gotten through the right process, then basically you're in violation of the contract.
Okay, so you got to break the contract first before you
You've got to quit the contract, the voluntary contract.
Okay, my mistake.
Isn't that why you're absent? Because you haven't quit the contract?
No.
Absent from your duties and in recognizing...
It's not you. It's not you.
Okay.
It's your workman.
Okay.
That's the absent from the state. You can leave the damn state anytime you want. The state do not control the people. They can only control the workmen. All those codes out here, they do not apply to the living person. They only apply to the workman. Think about it. If the driver's license that is for a artificial person, okay, then he is driving for the state. He is a workman for the state. Now, if he's a workman for the state can put out a code that says that workman has to have a seatbelt on when he's working for the state. But if you put not for hire in your window and you do away with the license for the vehicle and everything, they do not have jurisdiction over it. And if you turn in your driver's license and you have no Social Security number, they cannot do a damn thing to you, just like that one guy out in Washington there when he pulled up there. I don't have any number. The living person does not need a number. That's a total violation, moral violation, that is addressed in the Bible. You do not operate with a number.
That's right.
I don't know whether we'll ever get anything out of all these insurance policies or not, We might be best off just to get rid of all the damn things and just go and get our original account. DD 214 and all the assets that are basically held under a certificate of live birth, and leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
That would work for me. That's enough.
But see, until more people get out here and start getting involved and start hammering these damn Secretary of State and the Attorney Generals of the state and even the federal and even putting it into some of the courts. Especially if you already have an outstanding court case. This would really drive some of these judges into the back room running for their damn life. Because they're all quasi-judges anyway.
That's right.
They're not constitutional judges. They're insurance judges. And almost every one of them is doing extortion, racketeering, and insurance fraud in all court cases. Because they're just an adjuster. A person who makes a determination of a claim. Is that not all that these damn judges are doing? Is they're making a determination of a claim one way or the other?
Yes.
A charge is a claim. But see, most people didn't know that this was all about an insurance claim.
Hi, Patrick.
Yeah.
In some prior documents, you had this phrase that I really liked, and I guess in this case, since we're alleging embezzlement, shouldn't we be demanding a full accounting of the public bailiff?
Yeah, if you can find where the public bailiff's at. It sort of addresses that in a way in that one document, absent from the state of, or from the state. Down below at the very last, there's the Secretary of State and the Commissioner of Securities as designated attorneys for the service of process are its agents in no such sense as to represent the continued corporate presence of the corporation in the state. And the Commissioner of Securities in the state is normally the insurance commissioner. But the Secretary of State is also the one that is over all these corporations. The workman, too, for those corporation instruments.
So when you deliver this document to the agent, then do they become the holder in due course?
Well, you just make the notification to them to basically that you're quitting. You're unvolunteering from, and see, that's where you've got to make the notification that you're unvolunteering from the state of Iowa or state of whatever, and the state of United States, comma, .dc or dc dot d dot c dot state in Washington, D.C., okay? These fictional states, as they are mutual benefit societies. Now, see, Chris Summers had one of these things right about the Attorney General is basically one of the trustees over these charitable trusts. And see, that's what they try and claim, that a lot of these items that they're holding under this insurance scenario for the society is a charitable trust. That's how they try and get around not paying the taxes and making the members of the society be the payers of the taxes. But then they never pay us the payment to make the payment for the taxes.
So with regards to this notification of our quitting notice, we don't need to submit any quitclaim deeds. We just need to have them on hand in case they ask. Is that correct?
That's the way I'm looking at it.
Okay, thank you.
We just
And the
need to
Secretary
hammer
of
them
State,
with the quitting process. And
the Secretary of State is forwarding it to the Attorney General anyway, aren't they?
The what?
The Secretary of State is forwarding them to the Attorney General anyway, aren't they?
No, basically, in my case, the Secretary of State had an assistant Attorney General working for him. Or the Attorney General's office had a specific Attorney General, Assistant Attorney General that is assigned to the Secretary of State. They probably also have one that's assigned to the Treasurer, okay, for liability purposes and everything else, to defend them, basically, if somebody comes after them.
Huh.
Yeah, they try and cover their asses in every which way they possible.
Right.
So I would always send them to both.
Patrick, do you suggest sending this into the treasurer also?
That's what I was about to say.
Well, you could possibly send your bills to them and say, here, you better pay these or out of the damn municipal benefit insurance policy. If not, I will press charges against this office. But see, that's what we got to, this workman's comp, okay? The treasurer, nobody's been going in there putting this claim in against a workman's comp, against that driver's license being a workman's comp insurance policy. I tried to address it somewhat as an insurance policy with the court, but they sort of steamrolled that over. Now, basically, I turned around and I sent one off to my district judge, and I told him, you will now settle all those charges.
Oh.
Or else I will file charges against you in the process for insurance fraud, extortion, sabotage, and racketeering. And I can prove every one of those damn things now.
Workman's compensation looks like it's for employees who are injured or die or disabled due to their employment.
On the surface.
Yeah. But I'm thinking injury could probably be wider in its term.
got to read between the lines and what it's saying.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah, because I'm injured.
Performing acts, working claim. Performing acts for the purpose of making a mining claim productive, such as developing or extracting an ore body after it has been discovered. Okay? And that one I have right before workman. Now, you start looking at this, that basically that is a mining claim. That is a working claim. A working mining claim, productivity.
Right.
Your working man is productive. So you put a working claim in against that. Then you go down and start looking now at the workman compensation. A general or comprehensive term applied to embracing those laws, providing for compensation for loss resulting from the injury, disablement, or death through industrial accident. But it doesn't really stop there, okay? They don't, it says a general and comprehensive term. When they make something like that as a general, that is not all encompassing. And anyway, your guy is disabled. He can't pick up his paycheck. You have to go and get it for him. So he's injured in that way.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Just think of it. He lost his hand. So basically now you've got to go and get his paycheck for him. His compensation. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Have
Thank
fun
you,
with
Patrick.
these. I mean, basically, it's right there.
Right.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander also. Okay?
Right.
When they use things like this against us, we can turn around and use the same thing right back at them. You just have to have the fortitude and the stamina and know and put the advantage on your side of the aisle.
That's right.
Okay?
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Good night, then.
Good
night.
night,
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you very much.
Good night, Patrick. Good night.
Okay. Talk to you guys later.
Yes.
Bye. Bye.